Hi, I'm Christina and this is Yoga to Transform, and we're about to undertake a 20-minute core for yourself yoga class. So this core for yourself yoga class, I'm riffing off a woman called Sarah Powell who did a core class and used that title, and I really love the title. Now the reason I really love the title is that when we create strength and stability and support in our core system, what we're doing is we are learning to really care for ourselves, right? Because strength and support and stabilization equal this deep internal strength that feeds out into our lives, where we get to be able to say yes to the things that serve us and no to the things that don't. So we're creating more than this deep internal strength when we work with our core, but we're creating a whole new level of psychological, emotional, and spiritual strength as well. Alrighty, shall we take a comfortable seat? Cross your legs gently. And just take your left hand to the inner right thigh, your right hand to the right seat bone, and gently move that route back and apart. And second side, bringing your right hand to the inner left thigh, left hand, and move that seat bone apart. And you'll notice that your seat bones will be nice and broad now on the mat. Now into that space, we have, let's start again, that we have 4 parts of the core. So most of us think about the abdominal muscles and the six-pack when we think about the core, but what we're really thinking about is the whole of the core, which is more like a cylinder. So we have the abdominal muscles, and we work more on the internal stabilization muscles when we practice yoga. And then we also have the erector spinae, which are the long back muscles at the back. And then we have at the bottom and top of the core, there's 2 pelvic bowls or diaphragms. So we have there's 2 diaphragms. So we have the pelvic floor, which forms the lower part of the diaphragm, and then we have the diaphragm that sits just under the ribs here as well. And when these are working properly, they move in unison. So the inhalation and the exhalation allows the pelvic floor and the diaphragm to lift in unison together. And we're going to be focusing today, as we strengthen our core, on taking 3 actions. So the first action is to lift the pubic bone towards the navel. And that action zips up, right? This lower part, just like you're zipping up your jeans, it zips up the lower part of the belly and allows you to draw the belly in. So that's action number 1. Action number 2, we're going to lift the pelvic floor up towards the belly button as well. So there's this sucking in and up of the pelvic floor, and we do that as we rotate the pubic bone towards the navel. And then the third one, if you want to add it in, is to imagine the hip bones moving inwards together so that they're kind of collapsing in towards the midline. Shall we try that as we take a few seconds just to center ourselves? So lifting the pubic bone towards the navel, draw the belly back towards the spine. Inhale, draw the perineum up towards the navel, and maybe imagine the hips coming in together. You should feel quite supported in this space now. Roll the head of your arm bones back and just gently close your eyes and take a bright breath in. Allow your torso to lengthen, and then as you exhale, allow the shoulder blades to soften down the back. And as you breathe in, just feel how taking this seat, taking this solid, strong, supported seat feels in your body. Notice if it's a challenge or there's strain. And just sit with that, just observe it. The first part of learning to care for ourselves from a deep, internal, supported place is to just see where we may be a little bit weaker in doing that. And we care for ourselves by not judging where we are today, but lovingly embracing that. Bring your hands together in front of your heart. on your back, keep your knees bent, bring your feet close to your seat bones, and bring your hands to the top of the thighs. So we're going to do a subtle pelvic rock, just like we would do in cat-cow, but we're doing it on the back to start with. So get your four corners of your feet anchored into the mat to create that support right at the floor and at the ground of your being. Place your hands here and in the top of the thigh bones away, and notice how that creates a curve in your lower back and a rounding of the lower back. All right, and then as you exhale, draw the pubic bone to navel, lift the perineum up towards the navel as well, and maybe imagine bringing those hip bones together, and notice how your lower back moves towards the floor. Let's do that a few more times, pushing thigh bones away, creating that curve in your lower back. And then inhale, drawing pubic bone to navel, drawing perineum up to the navel as well. Last time, just moving it away. So when we're working into these deep places, we don't need to do big movements. We can be incredibly subtle and still be supporting ourselves. Nice. And then inhale, just coming back. So there is a gentle curve in your lower spine. Bring your arms into cactus arms and grab hold of your mat just above your head and lift your knees up so that your knees are over your hips and your shins are parallel to the mat. Roll the head of your arm bones back. Create that curve in your lower back and then lift the perineum to the navel as well. And hug your shins and your thighs together. From here, gently exhale, take both knees over to one side of the body. Only go as far as you can before your shoulder on the opposite side wants to lift off. And then inhale, slowly come back to center. All right, we'll do that 3 times on each side. So I'm going to the left side now. If you're going to the left or the right, just keep going. Keep the opposite shoulder anchored on the mat. Keep hugging the core towards the spine. Come back 2 more times, either side. Focus on keeping your legs hugging towards each other so that the knees stay together. You're creating this ability to hold center and hold your core, building a deep internal strength that carries you through life. Coming back to center, last time on each side. This is pretty strong, but if you want to make it stronger, you can lengthen your legs out straight and move your feet towards your hands. Inhale, come back. I can't do it on the other side, I don't have enough room, so just do whatever supports you best. Inhale, come back. Nice work. Hug your knees in towards your chest and gently roll to one side of your body. Before we come into cat-cow, I just want us to take Dandasana. So seated on your seat bones, if you need to, grab some blankets to lift yourself up. Take your left hand to the inner right thigh and swirl those seat bones rounded back and apart. Same on the opposite side. And that creates that curve in the lower back again. So it gives you that ability to be curved. Spread your toes and have your second toe pointing up towards the ceiling. And push the big toe mounds away from you. Lift up into the belly from the tops of your thighs. Now lift the pubic bone to navel into that space. Draw the perineum up and imagine the hips coming together. You can place your hands beside you for Dandasana. Now this pose strengthens and stabilizes the support system of your core significantly. So if you're used to slouching, which I know when I started yoga I was, and this pose was excruciating, just do this for a minute a day. Fabulous. Cross your legs and make your way into table. Place the middle of your wrist in line with the outside edges of your shoulders. Spread your fingers nice and wide. And running through cat-cow, but take your attention down to the core part of your region where we're focusing today. Draw the pubic bone to navel, draw the belly back, lift the perineum up as you come into cat. Inhale, come through. Exhale, round. Noticing that how you can bring that awareness into this part of your body and engage it in a much deeper, more connected way. You become more connected to yourself as you become stronger in this part of who you are. Lovely. Last time, coming through. Inhale, come into table. Do that quick subtle action of taking the thigh bones back. Notice how that creates a little curve in the lower back. Now tuck the pubic bone towards the navel, draw the lower belly back towards the spine, lift your perineum and step your left foot back, toes on the floor. Turn the inner thigh of your left leg in so the hips stay parallel, and then inhale, lift the left foot up from the inner thigh. Some of you will join in the right hand and come into a table balance. So this caring for yourself is hugging muscles to the bones, all parts of your body. Draw from the fingertips and the heel all the way into this core area. Lift the pubic bone to navel, draw the perineum up, and even imagine the hip bones coming together. That should feel pretty solid. Exhale, come down. Oh, yeah, you don't have to do a big, intense stomach crunches to get into the core. All right, stepping your right foot back. Turn the right inner thigh in so that your hips become parallel and the lower back is stable. Draw from the heel up into the belly, and then lifting from the inner thigh. Inhale, lift that foot up. So you're moving from the core, not from the periphery. You're letting the core move you with grace and ease through life. Inhale, bring your left hand in. Draw the fingertips and the heel into the core belly, lower belly. Hug pubic bone to navel, draw the perineum up and even imagine the hip bones coming together to get that engagement. If you're shaking a little bit, that's okay. You're just cultivating the strength here. Come down. Nice work. Now come up into downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanayama. And then bend your knees halfway down towards the mat. Bring your attention to the top of your thigh bones like we started with, and move those thigh bones back to create this curve in your lower back and the seat bones moving up towards the ceiling. Into that space, lift the pubic bone to navel, draw the perineum up, and then hug the hips together. Now moving the thigh bones back into the hamstrings this time to straighten your legs and create that opening. And as you anchor pubic bone to navel and lift the perineum, extend from the core of your being out through the bones of your legs, down through the spine, and anchor your hands into the mat, creating this stability and support so you can stay steady and stable. Look forward at your hands, bend your knees like they step, jump or walk forward, Uttanasana. Lift your heart halfway. Exhale, melt your heart. Ground down through your legs and inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, hands together in front of your heart. Perfect. Now let's take that action in a standing pose. So make sure you're anchored into the floor and anchored into your own stability by taking the big toe ball mound, little toe ball mound, inner heel and outer heel and anchoring them. Inhale, lift your toes up. Keep that support as you anchor them back down and draw all the way up from your feet into your belly. Now take the thigh bones back and notice how that broadens out the seat bones, and tuck the pubic bone towards the navel and your tailbone will drop. You'll feel that engagement in your belly. Now lift your perineum into that space as you hug the hips towards each other. Inner body bright with one bright breath in, hold that, and then inhale, lift up with the hands. Exhale, step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your heart halfway. Exhale, melt your heart, place your hands and step your left leg back to come into the lunge. Stay on your fingertips. If you need blocks to support your hands so that you're nice and long, do so. And just like we did earlier in table balance, take the inner thigh of your left leg up towards the ceiling, turning it in so the hips become parallel. You can hug this hip in a little bit more so that you're creating that stability, okay? From there, place your hands on your right thigh. humbly hug in and move the thigh bones back a little bit more, just like we did earlier, as you lift the pubic bone to navel, tucking the tailbone under, and draw the perineum up to rise you up. As you exhale, you can anchor into the heel of your front foot and extend out the back leg. But keep that focus on turning the inner thigh in here so that the hips are pointing forward and drawing the pubic bone to navel, perineum up, and creating the stability and the strength in your system. Exhale, come down. Anchor into your left hand as you place your right hand on your hip. Turning by drawing belly back towards spine. Inhale, lift up. So we're learning to move from the core and have that stabilization so we can move through life with ease and grace and strength. Inhale, unwind and step forward, Uttanasana. Second side, take the right leg back. Pause here for a moment, turn the inner thigh on your right leg in and back, and you'll notice how you can then tuck your left seat bone under a little bit more. Place both hands on your left thigh. Take the thigh bones back, and into that space, lift pubic bone to navel, draw, tucking the tailbone under, draw the perineum up, and allow that to lift you up so you can face life stable, right, and balanced, right? Turn the hips in by lifting that inner thigh up and back, and then readjust, create that connection. You don't need to be doing stomach crunches, yeah? Anchor into the heel of your front foot and extend out the heel of your back foot. Fold forward. Place your hands, step back, downward facing dog. Create that strength as you inhale, come forward, either table or plank. Then come down, either knees, chest, chin, or Chaturanga Dandasana. Bring your fingertips out in front of you. From your fingertips, draw the shoulder blades together, and then inhale, lift the tips of your fingers and your elbows up to hug your shoulders together. Hug your feet together as you lift your feet up. Spread the toes. So we're drawing into the center line of our body. Now the core is the back as well. We have to work the back. We have to strengthen it just as much so we're balanced. Come down. Woo. We're going to do that 2 more times. Coming up onto the tips of your fingers. Roll the head of your arm bones back. Inhale, lift up. Now I always tell my class, my students, if you take the corners of your mouth up, it makes it easier. So let me know in the comments if it's made it easier. Perfect. And come back. Woo. Take a bright breath in. Exhale fully. Last time, coming up onto the tips of your fingers. Inhale, draw the fingertips and the elbows and the shoulder blades together as you lift your feet up as well. Lifting working into the back body, cultivating strength and support and stabilization. So important for you to move through life in a caring, supported way. Come down. Woo. Place your hands beside your chest, tuck your toes under, and make your way back into downward facing dog. Let your core, the belly, lead you. Look forward at your hands, bend your knees, lightly step, jump or walk forward, Uttanasana. Lift your heart halfway. Keep lifting the pubic bone towards the navel. Exhale, melt your heart. As you anchor down through the bones of your legs, draw the perineum and the pubic bone up as you rise up. Strong, stable, and balanced. Hands together in front of your heart. Let's add that all together. Reach for the sky. Fold forward. Inhale, lift your heart. Exhale, melt your heart. Step your left leg back. Place both hands on your top right thigh. Turn the inner left thigh in. Get those hips even. Draw the pubic bone to navel. Lift perineum. Squeeze the hips together. Inhale, come up. Anchor into the front heel as you extend out the back heel. Hold this here. You might want to lean forward, come onto the toes of your back foot, lift the back leg up and come into warrior 3. Draw into the belly If you're in warrior three, inhale, bring the foot forward. If you're in the lunge pose, step forward. Tadasana. Reach up. Fold forward. Step your right foot back. Place both hands on your left thigh. Rising up. Turn the inner thigh of your right leg in so the hips come parallel into that space of pubic bone to navel. Rise up. Warrior one variation. Anchor into the heel of your front foot, and then some of you create that stability in this lower part of your body. Hold that, begin to move forward and make your way into warrior three. Now your options are to have your hands in the cactus pose like we had earlier, or arms running beside the torso. Now because I've got a plant in the way, I'm making that choice, but you make the choice that challenges you right. Fabulous. Inhale, come up. Woo! Reach for the sky. Hands together in front of your heart. One quick last pose. Make your way down to the floor. Place your feet on the mat. Hands behind your thighs. Lengthen long through the side of your body. Take that bright breath in and connect to your ability to strengthen and care for yourself. Lean back into that support, and now into that place, hug, lift pubic bone to navel, draw the perineum up and hug the hips in. You'll already be feeling strong here. If you want to make it a little bit more challenging, you can lift one leg up, maybe two, maybe release your hands, reset and reconnect to your own strength, and then maybe some of you will straighten your legs. The good news is, these are just all options. All options. One day you might get there. Some of you might recognize as Dandasana from beginning of class. Calm down. The thing is, we just take the poses, we put them in different variations, and they get a little bit more challenging. Take your right hand behind your hip. Left arm wraps around your legs. Hug the legs into the midline as you inhale deeply, and then exhale, soften. Turn over your right shoulder. Unwind. Come to the second side. Left fingertips behind you. Lift up nice and long. And turn. Inhale, unwind. Scooch forward on your mats if you need to, then slowly make your way onto your back, keeping the core engaged, moving from that place of strength and support. Hug your knees in towards your chest. You might even want to just do a gentle massage of your lower back. Then inhale, hug in, lifting head and heart, moving from the belly. Exhale, release. 2 more times. Inhaling. Exhaling. One last time. And then just releasing that. You can keep your feet bent, knees bent, and bring them together for supported rest pose if your lower back needs the support. Otherwise, make your way into Shavasana. I'm going to wrap up the class now, but you can stay in Shavasana for as long as you need to. To our ability to create core support that strengthens and stabilizes us from a deep internal space so we can care for ourselves better. We bow. Namaste. Thank you for joining me this morning. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I look forward to seeing you next time on Yoga to Transform. If you liked this short version of the class, there's a long version in our Facebook group. All you need to do is follow the link on our bio in the YouTube channel, and it will take you all the way into our Facebook group. You can join that group. It's a private group, and take advantage of the free classes we offer there. Namaste.